In this section, I'm going to cover using abstracted data on the EOS console. And abstracted data is simply data that the console automatically calculates. Now, primarily we're talking about using the color picker. That is the main abstracted data that shows up on the EOS. So let's take a look at that. What I'm going to do is bring up my Mac 700s, and they're in open white. And to get to the color picker, I hit Displays and the color picker soft key. And now I have the color picker up on the console. Now, anytime I'm using the abstracted data, especially in color, the console is going to mix in hue and saturation. So I can simply go through and touch inside the spectrum field and choose a color. Now, what you'll notice about the spectrum field is that because the Mac 700s are calibrated fixtures in my fixture library, that the EOS understands what the capabilities are of that light in terms of the colors that it can make. And it's represented by the black line, the gamut line that shows the extent of the color mixing capabilities of that particular unit. So I can choose any color within that black line and the console will be able to mix to that color. One of the other things that the color picker will do is match color to gel. And you'll notice that in the color picker section, the left-hand side is my spectrum field and the right-hand side are buttons that pertain to different gel manufacturers. So if I want to do an approximation of, say, a Roscoe, I can hit the Roscoe button and my CIA will repaint and give me a lot of the common Roscoe swatches, and I can simply choose which one I want, and the console will pick the appropriate hue and saturation values to match to that color. I can hit the back key to go back out, and I can see on my spectrum field the approximate color of where that is. I can also use my encoders to change hue and saturation manually if I don't want to use the touchscreen. There's another way to access some of the gel information in particular, and that's using the command line. In the main color picker display, you'll notice that each of the buttons that is representative of the gel manufacturer, there's also a number. So you can see that our Roscoe is manufacturer number 5. So if I take those Mac 700s and I hit my color category, I could put them at color manufacturer / number, and I've now gotten the approximation of R80. On my external display in the hue and saturation, you'll see that we have G for gel, and R80 is the color that is represented there in our fixture. Now you'll notice that hue and saturation have become manual values. If I store this color, the console will store the hue and saturation. If for some reason I want the actual CMY values to store, I can make those values manual by hitting the color format key in my CIA. And now CMY are manual and hue and saturation is calculated. So that is how you would use abstracted data and specifically the color picker feature on the EOS.